Welcome to Numerical Methods Summer 2026. This is Dr. Michael Reynolds. This video is to tell you all about what you need to know to be successful in this class this summer. And so I'm going to be going over some key details, and I'm also going to be going over the syllabus. First thing, key things to know. We have two exams in this class. Both of them have to be in person. We do not do online exams. We have two types of homework. I'll talk about that. And I'll talk about some changes that are happening this summer in 2026. First off, in the exams, we'll have a midterm and a final. I'll talk about the specific date ranges of those when I go over the syllabus. But you can think of the midterm as being, in the middle of the semester. I think it's, later in June, mid-June. And the final is late July. They're going to be offered in Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach on our campuses. But if that doesn't work for you, you can also take them at a testing center near you. So how does that work? Okay, so you would be required to go find that testing center and set that up. I'm not going to set it up for you. You contact that testing center and say, hey, I would like to take a test on this day or this day, whatever. And then once you make those arrangements, you let me know, and then I will send them the test, and they will administer the test and send it back to me. So pretty simple. We've been doing it like this for years. And so if you're not in Pensacola or Fort Walton Beach, you can certainly take it at a testing center. If you are in Pensacola or Fort Walton Beach, note that we will have multiple times where we offer this exam. So we're not going to just do it one day, okay? We're going to have multiple days. And there will be some daytime options, but there will be at least one evening option. So you might be asking, well, when is specifically going to be the exam? Like, tell me exactly the dates and times. And the reason I can't do that just yet is because I want to hear from you. So I'm going to be sending out a survey to all the students in a couple of weeks. And that survey will give you some optional times, okay? And you can select those times. And so instead of me just guessing and throwing up some times, I'm asking you, okay? So what will happen is the most popular times will be the times where we offer the midterm, okay, and the final. And there will be at least one evening option, okay? So we know a lot of you are working and you're going to need that evening option. So I expect a lot of students to be at the evening option. In fact, we might have two because of so many students. I wouldn't be surprised to have two. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the survey. Okay, so as long as you fill out the survey, we'll be able to hopefully accommodate you. But if you're not in Pensacola or Fort Walton Beach, you can take the testing center at a center near you. Some students go, well, I don't know where that is. And the most obvious place is to look at any college or university that's near you. Okay, so look at the colleges and universities near you and contact them. Most likely they have testing centers, okay? And so most of the time, 95% of the time, it's been a college or university that's near you, okay? So yes, a survey will go out. Now, on the test, you will only be allowed a calculator, and you'll have an equation sheet. So you will not have a computer. There will be no MATLAB, Excel, or anything like that. It'll simply be a calculator, and the exams will be multiple choice. And probably be about 10 problems on each one. So, so it's really important that you know how to do the numerical methods techniques by hand. Because that's how you'll do it on the test, okay? You will not have a computer, you will not have internet access or anything like that, okay? It is a pen, paper test, okay? And so you need to be able to do those things on your own, okay? So if you have further questions about the exams, let me know. But just remember this, we will not be doing any online exams. Okay, homework. So we have two types of homework. One is through the textbook manufacturer, McGraw-Hill. There's a link in Canvas. I can show you that. And it is shorter, it's not as long, and it's worth 8%. And this summer, for the first time, I'm encouraging students to use AI for that McGraw-Hill part of the homework. And so if you want to use AI, great. Try it, use it, do it, go at it. Okay? Take a look at the answers it gives you, do that. So we're trying that. It's a new thing this year. And so you're using AI to help solve problems that come from the McGraw-Hill. And it should not be very long. And then the Canvas, which looks like quizzes, is longer and it's worth 12% of your grade, and you have to upload your work. So in this case, there's at the end of every homework, there's an upload spot, and basically all your scratch paper, all your worked out stuff, I want to see that uploaded. So basically, check that you're doing this on your own. And the thing is that homework is important. You need to know how to do it in order to do well in the exams. So the exams are 80% of your grade. Homework's only 20%. And so you've got to be able to do this on the exams. And so if you don't do the Canvas homework by yourself on your own, using the techniques from the videos, then you're not going to do well in the exams. Okay, so that's not going to go well. Okay, just some changes for 2026. We reduced the class this summer, or actually last fall, to 2 credits. I have reduced work. Definitely less homework. The McGraw-Hill is way less. Even the Canvas, I've took off homework. Okay, so there's definitely less homework than the past. I deleted 5 videos, so there's less content. Okay, and there's no more programming assignments. And so I understand students are going to be like, well, you took it from 3 to 2. You're going to reduce work. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely going to reduce work because we understand that it's now a 2 credit class. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the syllabus. Okay, and so I'll go through some things in the syllabus. I'll probably repeat a few things that I just said just to make sure we understand them. So there's my contact information. My email is there. That's the best way to reach me is email. Okay, definitely use email. There are no office hours, but of course will always reply to your emails. That's great. Okay, so please do that. And if you want to email me to set up a time to meet in my office, we can definitely do that. But there's no set office hours. Okay. So what's numerical methods all about? The goal of the course is to teach you different ways to solve engineering problems using math techniques. So it's very much different than the math you've had. You know, the math you've had, you've learned it for the sake of math, and that's important. So you've learned calculus, you've learned all the reasons why these things that you learn in calculus or in algebra and trig and things like that, you learn why they work and why they're important. This course is really about just getting the answer. And so this course is very practical. And so we're just trying to say, okay, now when you go into your engineering career, you're going to have times where you're going to have to just solve complex systems. And so how do we do that? Well, we use numerical tools, okay? And so we're going to learn some of these numerical tools that could be helpful for you in the future, okay? And so that's really what this is all about. In the past, we used to do a little more emphasis on computer programming because for a long time we did not have a separate computer programming course. Now we do. So you have your own computer programming course. And in the past, I still did some work with MATLAB programming and Excel programming, but we don't do as much of that now. But we still use MATLAB. We will still use Excel. Okay, so you definitely want to download MATLAB. There's a link there on Canvas. And you definitely want to have Excel. I'm assuming you all have that. Okay, so definitely still going to use MATLAB and Excel, especially Excel, because if you go in the industry, you're going to find that Excel is just all over the place. A lot of engineers use it. So anyway, so there's a lot of different numerical techniques that we're going to learn. So the course text is the Connect book online access with Chopra. It is important that you get that because the homework is 8% of your grade. So if you decide not to get the book, you're basically throwing away 8% of your grade. But besides that, the book offers a lot of very good practical ways to solve problems, which is what you're going to need to know in order to do the midterm and the final. Okay. So the midterm covers blocks 1 to 2. I'll show you that in a moment. And it's June 16th through June 18th. So there's going to be various dates and times within that. Okay, so there'll be several during the day, but there'll be at least one, maybe two evening options as well. The exam is going to be 30% of your grade, and the final exam is offered on the date ranges of July 28th to 30th. It's half your grade, so it's a pretty big deal. Of course, it covers everything, all 4 blocks. Okay. And so there's your percentage, how you calculate your grade, all sorts of information. This is new. I've added a statement on AI, and you're allowed and encouraged to use AI tools on the McGraw-Hill Connect problems. Okay, just that. Okay, do not use them on the Canvas. The Canvas problems are for you to do by yourself, on your own, by hand, or using a calculator would be the best, because that's exactly how you'll have them on the midterm and final exams. Okay, so you really want to do that for the Canvas problems, but for the McGraw-Hill, yeah, go ahead and use AI. Use that tool, see how it goes. Okay, so I think that's kind of an interesting way to do it. We're going to see. I'll be interested to see your feedback on that as we go. So there we go. The course schedule is divided into 4 blocks. Okay, so, and I'll show you the Canvas page in a moment. You can see the blocks are very clear in the Canvas page. And so what you do to approach each block is this. I would watch the videos in those blocks, okay, and then I would work on the homework. Now your first homework in McGraw-Hill is due May 26th. So today is May 11th, first day of classes for summer. And so that's 15 days. So you got plenty of time to watch the videos and to prepare for doing that McGraw-Hill. But then 3 days later is the Canvas is due. Okay, and so I separate those out to just make sure that you don't have everything due at the same time. Okay, and so that's block 1. I would watch the videos, and then I would start working on the homework. Work with McGraw-Hill first. Use some AI tools if you want to, see how things are solved in there, learn from that experience, and then go into Canvas and really try to crank those out by hand, and make sure you turn in your work, because you do need to do that. The matrix review, and by the way, on the Canvas you get 2 attempts. On the McGraw-Hill, I think you get like a lot of attempts, but the Canvas you get 2. Of course, so there's a little bit of programming review, but really the main things in block 1 are error, Taylor series, roots, nonlinear systems of equations. Block 2 is really important. Matrix algebra is really important. I'm going to try to emphasize that a little more this year. You might see a little more of that on the midterm and the final. Systems of linear equations, matrix inversion, optimization of single multivariable, very good. That's block 2. And those are the homework due dates. Block 3, you can see all that there. Those are the due dates as well. And block 4, DiffyQ is very important. Okay, so those are the due dates for that as well. Okay, so there's that. Let me go ahead and bring in the page. Let me bring it over. Here we go. Okay, so you can see here the Canvas page. This is not exactly what it looks like for you, but I think it looks pretty close to this. You'll see all this stuff. This intro to course will be, this is literally this video, so I can't put it in just yet. But you can see everything here on the Canvas page. Now, I started out with programming resources, but I fully admit that you're not going to be doing as much programming in this class as we did in the past. Okay, so you definitely want to use this link and download MATLAB. Everybody should have MATLAB for sure. And if you want to, it's a good idea to go through the MATLAB tutorial. It's a very simple tutorial. Probably a good idea just to get you warmed up with MATLAB if you've never used it before. I also have a separate video of how to program in Excel and MATLAB. Very good. I highly recommend it. But like I said, you're not going to do a ton of MATLAB programming. You're just going to do some. Here's where you complete the homeworks. Canvas block 1, 2, 3, 4. Very clear dates. That's the Canvas homework. The McGraw-Hill, there should be a link over here to the left that says McGraw-Hill Connect. And then that's the link over to how you complete the McGraw-Hill homework, right? And then you see the blocks. Block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. And occasionally there are some associated files, whether they be Excel or MATLAB. This finite difference table, you don't even need that anymore because we don't do finite difference anymore. That's one of those things I got rid of, but whatever, it's still there. Here we go, matrix and all the stuff here, that's important. So I would start with block 1. I would review the videos of block 1, learn the techniques, learn about error. Error is actually really important. Error will probably come up on the midterm, okay? Almost guaranteed. And a lot of students screw up on that. So make sure you understand error. Make sure you understand the difference between percent error and just regular error. Very important. Taylor series, very important. Bisection, very important. Newton-Raphson, secant methods. Those are very important. A lot of that stuff's going to come up on the midterm. So you really need to know how to do all that stuff. And then what you do is you review the videos. And then what you're going to do is you're going to work on the McGraw-Hill homework and then also work on the Canvas homework. Okay, so make sure you do all that and you get all that done, and you'll just proceed through that and make sure when I send you the I'm going to send you the um, survey for midterm exam. Make sure you fill that out, okay? Because I need to know when you're going to take it, and so that we can get you all scheduled. So that should be it. Hopefully that answers most everything that you need to know. Remember, no online exams, no online exams, no online exams. So if you're not going to be in Pensacola or Fort Walton Beach this summer, make sure that you figure out where you're going to do your test at the testing center. And if this doesn't work out for you, make sure you drop the course right away, okay? Because I'm not going to do online exams later, okay? That's just never going to happen, okay? So you have to have it in person, okay? You have to have it at a testing center. It has to be an approved testing center. So please don't even think about trying to do it any other way, okay? So review the syllabus, make sure you know how to do everything, and that's about it. All right, let's have a great semester, and just email me if you have any other questions.